Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for, this is going to be for the rest of the year. And this is going to be another deep question reading. So there's going to be a question for each row, and I will tell you what those are as we go through it. The first one is what you need to hear right now. I know that's not really a question, I realize that, but still, deal with it. You have this challenges and achievement card and this love and new love card. Yeah, it is a time of new love. I will say, a lot of people have been getting these new love cards, but I literally called it at the beginning of the year. I said the second half of the year would be better for love, and I haven't been wrong. So I don't know what to tell you. Definitely could be love. And again, if you don't want love, this, again, we're in a time of heart-based energy where it's like it doesn't have to be a person. It could be just something that you will love. It could be you working on a project, an idea, your health. Anything heart-based would be excellent for you to work on right now. So like I said, take it how it resonates, but there could be a new love coming in for you. And like I said, it could be a hobby, right? It could be anything, but I definitely have been pushing people to do these things because that is the best energy we can operate from right now is love. And they say that the best energy to manifest from is love, right? And even if you don't believe in it, manifestation, which is perfectly fine, you don't have to believe in anything, right? I would still say it's free, right? It doesn't cost any money to love yourself more. It doesn't cost any money to work on ways to love yourself more as well, right? And I think, like I said, it's free. So you might as well try it and see what happens. But let's see what we have for you here, Aquarius. You have the Seven of Cups, which I don't know that. I'm going to start calling that card Aquarius because it's you get that card with me, pretty much every single reading and have been for a very long period of time. So, there you go. Definitely could be a, that energy is what you have been in. I think you've been dreaming, but in a good way. I think it is a good time to have crazy ass dreams because Neptune and Pisces, right? We have one more chance with Neptune and Pisces. Neptune is currently on its way back towards Pisces, retrograding. And, again, it's I think we have one more chance to really, bring that impossible dream down to earth, whatever that dream is. It could be anything that you're thinking about. But I think that a lot of you, it's you could be having a dream or a daydream or an impossible dream in your life. And I feel that you need to manifest that, whatever that impossible dream is down here on earth, because, that's the thing that's going to make you the most successful. And that's what I would do with the Seven of Cups. But again, the Seven of Cups is what ifs. Or I shouldn't say that. It's my card of what ifs. It's a good card, but at the same time, he's thinking of something he wants, but he's thinking what if this happens? What if that happens? Instead of just doing it, which is what I always say to you, Aquarius. I think you just need to do something, right? You just need to take action. You have the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords. I'm usually not the biggest fan of the King and Queen of Swords together in a reading. Because usually they kind of don't see eye to eye, unless she comes first, then she's kind of reaching out to this King of Swords energy, right? But it's sometimes I also think it can just represent two people who aren't talking yet or two people who haven't met yet, and we definitely have good love energy here. I feel if you are talking to a person, whatever, it's I don't know. There's I feel I said this to you in your last reading, Aquarius. It's it's not sexy enough yet. It's sometimes you try to flirt with a person and it's just it never reaches that that level where it's not. It's me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say here, Aquarius. Obviously, but it's it never reaches that kind of connection level, the flirtation level, and never crosses that line. And I don't know, there's something about if you are attracting a person that I think it needs to kind of cross that threshold of being flirtatious, or it needs to not be too serious or something. We're going to clarify this reading. We'll see what comes up. You have the King of Swords. The King of Swords can be a person that you're attracting. Could be someone who's older than you. Could be someone who has a lot of knowledge and wisdom as well. I think there needs to be more communication here, or just communication in general. So, again, look at how this is set up. We have the Knight of Swords rushing in. We have the Hermit, which is no communication, with the Page of Cups here, with the Ace of Swords. I don't know, it's just kind of an interesting setup, how these cards are laid out. And, again, I think that there needs to be a little bit more grease here. It's like, you need to grease this up. Maybe you need to whip out the baby oil, literally here. Well, not literally. I keep telling people, no nudes, people. Like, if you're getting into a new connection, don't send nudes right now. Definitely not during in the age of AI, right? So bad idea. But we're talking about figuratively here. You need to lube this thing up, whatever it is. There you go. With the Seven of Cups, yes, you have the Knight of Cups. Exactly what I just said. So Knight of Cups is very dreamy. Literally could be your dream. And maybe that's what you also need to do as well. Maybe you need to lube up your dream here, Aquarius, whatever your dream is. Maybe you need to make it smoother, right? I'm a big fan of doing that this year. As a matter of fact, all my 2025 readings at the beginning of the year, I said the keyword would be efficiency. I think we need to look at places in life where there is friction, and we need to smooth those things out in our life, whatever it is. It could be your health, wellness, spirituality, your belief systems. It could be something you're doing every single day. Whatever it is, I would be looking for friction, looking to lube that up, since that's the word we're going to use here. This could also be a very dreamy person, which could be part of the problem, right? Sometimes if we're too attracted to a person, then we just think there's no way. And so get out of your head. With the Queen of Swords, yes, okay, thank God. We have a little bit of attraction here, at least, with the King of Wands. Definitely could be a fire sign. You do have a good amount of fire here. It could be any sign, general reading. Earth stands out to me for whatever reason as well. Probably because you have Capricorn twice at the end. So it could be a Capricorn, could be whatever you want. I don't care. Just find a good person, as I always say. But the King of Wands about being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. We do see a lot of visionary energy in this reading, and you are Aquarius, you are a visionary. So I think in the King of Wands, I think something people forget about the King of Wands is like, yeah, sure, he can represent being bold, courageous, confident, really going for what you want, but he has foresight. Even though we don't really think of him necessarily as intuitive, he does have these visionary ideas, or he has the ability to create visionary ideas. So outside of love, I think, and even inside of love, right? Like, why not be a visionary in love as well? But, in any area of your life, I think, being visionary would be a good idea. Or using those ideas. With the Ten of Pentacles, with the King of Swords, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Could be a wealthy person, for sure. And, that doesn't have to mean money either, Aquarius. They could be well off, with money. I kind of get more of that feeling. Like, I'm not saying you're going to be marrying Bill Gates. And obviously, Bill Gates is trying to kill everybody, so don't marry Bill Gates in the first place. But, he definitely went to Epstein Island as well, for sure. Guarantee it. So, you know what that means, right? Evil. But what I would say here is that, this could be a person who has a lot of potential. I think they're probably pretty well off. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire as well. So definitely a very solid connection. I also think, sometimes I think of the Ten of Pentacles as like more, it's like you have to open the book, The Ten of Pentacles, there is a kind of like an alternative meaning to the Ten of Pentacles, which is like hidden or secret information. It's not that it's hidden or secret, it's just you have to open the book. It's like you have to research something. And again, if you're attracting a person, I feel that any new people that you're attracting at this time, it's like there's more than meets the eye. It's like you might assume things, like we all do, again, there's nothing wrong with it. We all kind of, judge people, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. Life is short, right? And especially if you're dating, it's like you only have like a little bit of time here to make those judgments, but there's like more than meets the eye. Next, we're going to look at what you are outgrowing at this time. You have this Temple Healing and this Fertility and Creation card. Yeah, I literally feel some of you are just completing a healing. This came up for a couple other signs as well, that literally like what they are outgrowing is a healing, which makes sense. Eventually, you heal. Eventually, the healing is done, and it's time to move on to the next thing, right? And so I think that some of you could literally just be outgrowing a healing. You have the Nine of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Hermit. I think one thing you could be outgrowing is like wishing for something with that Seven of Cups, right? Instead of wishing, it's like you're more moving towards doing, which is exactly what this reading wants you to do, as far as I'm concerned. I think the reading is saying that it wants you to follow through on something, that you've been wishing for. Seven of Cups, Knight of Cups, that is like dreamy ass energy. That is like, I'm just going to dream about something. I'm just going to fantasize about this. Very Neptune and Pisces. And, the trick with Neptune and Pisces is that we have to be careful of just dreaming of something, because it might not be, it's kind of like we can very much get trapped in the imagination with Neptune and Pisces. But, but the trick with Neptune and Pisces is if we make that imagination a reality, we could attract something very dreamy. We can attract something we thought was impossible, So it's like, now is the time. You have the Knight of Swords. I feel very good about this, actually, because I think you're no longer scared of something. It's like, I'm not saying you're, like, scared, but, Knight of Swords, sometimes I feel, runs up to a card in the reading. In this case, the King of Cups. And then it's like he's running back to the past, right? And so I feel like you're no longer running away from something, or you're no longer... It's like maybe you're deciding to follow through on something here, and probably something you will love. It doesn't have to be a person. The Ace of Swords is overcoming an obstacle. So, this could be just something that you will love, like I said at the beginning of the reading. You have the Hermit. I feel like you're no longer hiding. Like I just said, I kind of feel like the Knight of Swords and this Hermit are kind of similar. Now, it makes sense because next month in September, on the 21st, we have an eclipse in Virgo. We have two eclipses, one in Pisces, one in Virgo. But, I kind of feel like, closer to the end of the month there, that you could be feeling this right now. I always tell people it's like, we can feel eclipses months before they happen. So, eclipses are one of those kind of like placements in the astrology that we can definitely feel early. And I feel like you're going to be exposing something here, probably your truth with the Ace of Swords. Again, this has been coming up for you for a couple years, Aquarius, where it's like there's some truths that you could be revealing. But it's not like like you've been lying. It's just that you are, I think you're just being more open to your own truth. And, that is good. That will probably lead to you getting something that you want, right? Or multiple things. So let's see here, Aquarius, what we have for you. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Three of Cups, celebrating a harvest, right? So it's like literally this is saying if you take action, if you plant seeds with this Knight of Pentacles, that you will have a celebration in the future. So, again, if you take action on something you're trying to create, I think you'll be successful. Yes, with the Knight of Swords, you have the Empress. You have the Emperor and the Empress here. So, definitely could be divine counterparts if you're looking for love. A lot of abundance showing up here. This makes a lot of sense because you are a fixed sign. And it's like you fixed signs get these energies with me a lot of like planting new seeds. Like I think fixed signs are being triggered to create their Ten of Pentacles. Again, Ten of Pentacles, building, leaving a legacy. It's going to be different for all of you. It's just, building your ultimate vision for your life. And I beg people to do this right now because of Neptune and Pisces. Again, we have like one last chance to build something great in our lives, to build something that we thought was impossible, right? So we have to go towards the impossible dream. Now, are you actually going to be able to accomplish the impossible thing? No, but maybe not. But if you get like even 50% of the way there, that's probably going to be better than whatever your life is right now, right? That's the whole point of Neptune and Pisces. It's to exceed your own expectations. It's to, exceed your wildest dreams. And I'm like, again, people always accuse me of being too positive about this, but I always tell those people, I'm not saying this is going to be easy. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to put the work in. You're going to have to pull your head out of your ass with the Seven of Cups, right? You can't bury your head in the sand with that Seven of Cups. And you're going to have to take some risks and things like that. So it's not necessarily going to be easy. I'm just saying if there was ever a time where you could do it, it's right now. And by the way, the next time you get a chance to do this, you'll be dead because it'll be, it takes Neptune, however many years to get back to a sign. So we'll all be dead next time. Neptune's in Pisces, unless they turn us into robots, which I'm sure they want to do that, especially Bill Gates, right? With the Hermit, you have the Sun. Yeah, a lot of happiness. Sun is shining on you. The Hermit is about shining your light, which I think you definitely need to do. Shine your light out into the world, and I think that will be good. So there you go. Next, we're going to look at what is one move you could make right now that will change everything in your life. You have this Divine Infinity card. It says, challenge yourself to go beyond your limitations, and you'll find... I literally just said that. You cannot make that up. And you'll find your infinity. There you go. You need to do things. You need to challenge yourself to go beyond your wildest dreams, right? You have this Phoenix Rising card. It says, you've been through the fire, rising up anew, and embracing life in a deeper way. Yes, I think it would be an amazing time to embrace your heart with that card. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, all you have to do is plant one seed, take one step. Literally, I love this because I feel like it's saying there's not much for you to do. Again, in this row, we're looking at what's one move that could change everything for you, and it's literally saying one move. Your answer is literally the question that we're asking. All you have to do is take one step towards whatever it is that you're trying to do, and I think you just have to plant that seed. That's a trick with the Knight of Pentacles, or Knight of Pentacles. He can make a lot of progress, but he's the only knight in the tarot that isn't making a move. All he has to do is plant a seed here, and it will grow. And then he'll, be motivated to plant more seeds after. And so I feel like that's all you have to do here, Aquarius, and it will be great. You have the King of Cups. King of Cups could be love, of course, coming in for you. One thing I will say is like, I look at the king sometimes as archetypes that we are attracting into our life. So it could be any gender, whatever you're into, it doesn't matter. And the King of Cups can be the type of person who just doesn't get all worried and bent out of shape about everything that's going on. And so I like I've said, you've probably heard me say this before, I think King of Cups type people are naturally more attractive to us right now because they're just not worried about, everything that's going on. And, there's going to be a lot to worry about. Over the next 10 years. So, well, a little bit less, right? 8 years until 2033. So, that's what I'll say there. But, so, again, this type of person is usually more attractive anyway. The other thing is I think a good move for you to make right now would be to, explore your emotions with the King of Cups. The story of the card is that he's sitting in choppy waters, but he's perfectly fine because he's explored his emotions to a very deep level, but he's not worrying about every little thing that's going on around him. So I think staying focused, healing emotions would be a good idea. The other thing about the King of Cups is he has this boat right here. And like I said, this card says challenge yourself to go beyond your limitations. Which I said before I even knew that card was here. I basically said the same thing. And you'll find your infinity. The boat on the King of Cups represents traveling into the unknown. So, again, doing things you've never done before, exploring things you don't know would be a good idea. You have the Page of Cups, could be love coming in for you. So again, if you're looking for a solid love connection, definitely could be a new love connection coming in for you here. I think that it would probably make you very happy. This could also be putting yourself out there for love. So, obviously I'm speaking to those of you that want it. Even whether you do or you don't, I also think that, being open to love is what this is saying. But, again, that doesn't have to be a person. That could be a hobby. That could be an idea. It could be a new business idea, something that you will love, right? So just being open to love, I think, is a step that you could take. But really, you're the first sign, and I'm almost done with these readings. I only have a few more to finish. And you're one of the only signs where really there's not much for you to do. Everybody else had a lot to do. In this, they had more than one step, right? Your reading is literally saying take one step. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Four Swords. I think healing would be a good thing for you as well, or just, resting, relaxing, recovering. I think this is more about working. I really see a lot of you coming up with some sort of daily routine here as well. It's or maybe it doesn't even have to be perfect. This could be more of a loose daily routine where you kind of maybe you say, maybe for an hour a day, I'm going to work on this project or I'm going to do this thing. It's I think that would be very beneficial for you, even if it's not a super structured daily routine, but as long as maybe you're practicing something, maybe that's what it wants you to do. With the King of Cups, you have the Judgment card. I would be careful of past people. You have the Devil in the area of love, which we'll talk about in a minute. Almost every single person has had the Devil again, and which happened in August and July readings for everybody. So I would definitely be careful of past people, but I don't know. I think that a lot of you could be, it could be a little bit of a wake-up call happening for you as well at this time. These people have to change their lives, right? They have to leave the coffin. The coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And they have to step into their new life to experience something new. And they have to let go of the past. So, it could also just be asking you to let go of the past. With the Page of Cups, you have the Six of Wands, which you have twice showing up here in this reading, here and here. So whenever this happens, it's kind of the reading is zooming in on the card here and giving us more details. So we'll definitely talk more about it, but definitely could be a victory. Literally zooming in, you have 2 cards of a victory here, 3 with this one as well. So I think a lot of you could be having some sort of victory in your life at this time, which is great. Next, we're going to look at what blessings are going to be coming in for you at this time. You have this possibilities card and this diversity card, so it literally could be a variety of blessings coming in for you and possibilities. But and also something could be becoming more possible, is what I'm getting here. You have the Six of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Emperor. The Six of Wands is a card of a victory and a big success. It's also a card of getting attention and standing out. So a lot of you could be standing out for like work that you're doing or work that you have done. I think it would be a good time to try to stand out for work that you've done. I say this to you all the time, but again, it's really critically important for you, Aquarius, is that Pluto and Aquarius energy, right? You have like 19 years now, ish, somewhere around there, to take advantage of this energy. And, being a living example, standing out, taking the risk of speaking up, speaking your mind, like in work and business, wherever, sharing your opinions, things like that. Those are all things that will lead to victories in your life, but they're probably a little bit scary, because again, it's like, that's the risk you have to take, right? Is speaking up. And it's like, yeah, it's a little risky, but it'll probably be worth it. You have the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is like a victory or a big success, again, coming in for you. So, I think that there could be a big success or a big victory coming in for you here with the Ace of Swords. I think there could be good news coming in for you as well this month. And especially if you've been like fighting something or trying to overcome something, it's popping into my head. I don't know, very kind of specific message, Aquarius. But, again, if you've been like trying to, like dealing with some sort of little battle or something, it is popping into my head that that's what you could be overcoming here with this card, which is great. I also think that there could be like a victory just coming in for you with that card. You have the Emperor. Yeah, definitely, clearly, you have the Emperor and the Empress. So, and there is a lot of good love cards here. So if you want love, it looks amazing. And definitely could be a divine counterpart. Yeah, I do think this is something that's built to last, is what I would say to you here, Aquarius. Did I call you Capricorn? Sorry if I called you Capricorn, but it could be a Capricorn that you're attracting. You have the Devil and the Queen of Cups, or Queen of Pentacles, which is Capricorn. It could be another Earth sign. You have Virgo showing up here as well, and you have Taurus as well with the Empress. So, it could be an Earth sign, Earth, fire. I mean, you have everything. You have water here. You basically have everything. So it could be any sign, but I do think you could be attracting an Emperor type person. Let's see here, Aquarius. With the Six of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, you do have it twice. So you have a lot of repeating cards now. Whenever I do readings that have a lot of repeating cards, to me, it's kind of like the universe is just saying, I meant what I said. It's like the universe is, it's big confirmation for the reading. And so, again, this could just be confirmation for, the reading, plain and simple. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Temperance card. This could be something you've been kind of like waiting a long time for, the Ace of Swords. So if you've been hoping for a victory for a long time, this could be a victory. The other thing I'm getting here is like if you've had to go back to the drawing board multiple times, Aquarius, like if you've had to redo something or go back over something or try something again, before, I think that this could say that you're like overcoming that. It's like, something is finally working. It's like sometimes we have to not give up on something to get it to work in the first place. And I feel that if you have been perseverant, that literally this is like you getting a reward for being perseverant right here. With the Emperor, you have the Queen of Swords. Yes, which you have twice again. So you probably see this person. It's like whoever this person is, you probably know. And so I would just go for it, Aquarius, whatever this connection is. Next, we're going to look at love. So your next row is going to represent what will happen in your love life between now and the end of the year for the rest of the year. You have the Siblings card. It says caring, support, rivalry, and role models. You have this Being Chased card. It says anxiety, avoidance, and perceived threat. Devil. I don't think this is real. I'm wondering if you do have your eye on someone, but you're nervous about them, or you're like nervous about the situation. It's like, number one, I feel like you're clearly attracting someone very attractive here. Empress, Emperor, Six of Wands, Sun. These are all cards that would represent someone who gets a lot of attention, so that could make you a little bit nervous. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust your instincts or anything like that, right? So it's like, obviously, if there's clear evidence that this person is toxic, then you need to trust that, and you shouldn't listen to what I say. I always tell people all the time, it's like, tarot is loose guidance at best. Ultimately, you have to trust what you see, not me, right? So, you're the ultimate decision maker here, but it's definitely something I would pay attention to. And, but again, at the same time, I'm wondering if it's not toxic, but maybe, this person's like a little bit of a rebel or something like that. The other thing about the Devil is that, number one, I would be careful of past connections. The other thing I would say is that sometimes I think the Devil can be like two people who are still kind of like controlled by their past a little bit. And so that's definitely something I would be careful of. Again, don't listen to what I say. Pay attention to the results. you can meet a great person. But if they call you their ex's name, then clearly there's a frickin' issue and that you should pay attention to, right? And, again, I think there's nothing wrong. If you can tell that someone is still holding on to the past, I think there's nothing wrong with being like, you know what? When you're ready, then hit me up. But until you can let go of whatever the hell you've been through, I'm not dealing with this. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes saying that is what pulls that person's head out of their ass, right? So it's like sometimes that wakes that person up, and maybe they'll get over themselves, or they'll stop, thinking about the past person that hurt them or did whatever, right? So I kind of get that feeling here on this card, where it's not really toxic. It's just like both people need to have healed. You have the Queen of Pentacles, also could just be a Capricorn that you're attracting here. So, again, if you're looking for love, could just be a Capricorn person. I also think it's probably a very well-off person with that 10 of Pentacles as well. And the Queen of Pentacles would be someone who's very resourceful. You have the 6 of Pentacles. It's like, I feel like this is something that has to start. It's like a lawnmower, You probably don't know what I'm talking about, most of you, if you don't mow your lawn. But it's like, sometimes you start a lawnmower, it doesn't start. It takes a couple of pulls of the string to get that lawnmower going. I don't mow my lawn anymore either, but, what I would say here is it's like that's what's popping into my head with this card. It's like, I feel if this is a connection that's coming in for you, it might take a couple of pulls of the string. It's like, it might start a little bit slow or something like that. And so let's see. We'll clarify and let's see what's going on. I still think this would be very good for you. But again, don't just listen to me because, if the person's toxic or if they're not over an ex, then, obviously they need to get over it. With the Devil, you have the 8 of Pentacles. Pretty good. It could just be a workaholic, right? So you could be attracting a person who's very busy. Here's the difference, though. Is that the 8 of Pentacles can be a workaholic, but usually people who show up with the 8 of Pentacles, it's like they have a goal. They're not just like being a workaholic to be a workaholic. 8 of Pentacles is very specific. They're working on one thing. They're working towards one vision here. And usually they're very disciplined as well. So, but maybe that's the thing, is like maybe you're interested in a person and maybe you think, oh my God, this person has no time for me. But maybe what you need to realize is actually they're very disciplined and they have plenty of time. But maybe they use their time very wisely. And, this could be, I sometimes when stuff like this comes up in a reading, I think that maybe the problem here is like if you're expecting to be with a person that's always going to text you back when you text them immediately, probably not. This would be the type of person who has their phone on silent all day. You know what I mean? It's like they're probably very disciplined in what they do. But again, that is not usually a bad thing. That's probably a good person to attract. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Death card. Could be a Scorpio as well. But definitely, I think that there are a lot of changes happening for you, Aquarius, in your finances, like for the better as well. Even though this is talking about love, I think this is saying, this row represents love. I think it's saying if you do more, if you approach money with love, then better things will happen. With the 6 of Pentacles, you have the High Priestess. Yeah, definitely time to trust your intuition, whatever your intuition is telling you. I think you need to use your intuition more wisely as well. Like, really tap into that intuition, really use it for the better. And I think if you do that, good things will happen. If you really tap into that intuition, like I just said, and if you use it for wise things. So I would use your intuition. But this looks pretty good here, Aquarius. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.